Welcome back, bitches. Fight Dub number 10.
Número el dos. I mean, 10. I swear I'm Cuban.
If you're oblaying, that kind of thing. Exactly. We're on Fight Dub number 10. Welcome back. We're stoked to be here. What do you say, Dev?
I love it, man, but I forgot what the rules are of this bitch.
Rule number 1 of Fight Dub is...
Everybody talks about Fight Dub. And rule number 2 of Fight Dub is...
Everybody talks about Fight Dub.
Bert, who we got with us today?
Well, we have a good friend of ours, Doug Bacik. Doug and I first met at Carlson Gracie, but he comes way back then. We were talking to a guy with like an extensive grappling experience, guys. Division I West Virginia wrestler. Black belt in judo from Japan, which is that's like a whole other discussion right there, guys. And then BJJ black belt under the Machado system, if I'm not correct, right?
Correct, yeah.
So that's legit pedigree, guys. You know what I mean? Like
that's as legit as a grappler you could get, man.
It's a trifecta of grappling.
I like wrestling, man.
I mean, I wish I was fast because I would just want to run away from you, and I still don't think I could do that right now. I think you would just chase me down and just...
And that's right. For shits and giggles, you power lift too, right?
Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah, exactly.
Just throw that in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, just a little Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do a lot.
What do you have a nickname? A competition name?
Not really. I mean, people call me D. That's
D?
Yeah, but it's not. I don't have some fierce fight name.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry.
maybe we can come up with one.
Yeah.
Because you showed me with a record like that, man. An introduction and a title like that.
Thinking new segment. Maybe we have everyone come up with fight names.
There we go.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come up with. We'll revisit that later. But yeah, we like to think out loud on the fight.
Right down below this video, recommend some nicknames.
So walk us through
Exactly,
a little bit of your fight career. Tell us a little bit about like what it was like starting as a wrestler and then moving into judo.
So I grew up pretty poor, so there was like not a lot of options. Most sports, as you guys know, were really expensive, and wrestling was one of those like you just need shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah, just shoes. So I did that. I was terrible at it because I was really small, and then I got that growth spurt that most guys get, and I just really enjoyed it and got really good at it. And then after that, moved out to the West Coast, started training judo out here at the downtown. It's called Tenri Judo, and it was cool, but it was kind of cultish. They have a church.
Old school,
run out of a church. Yeah. And the sensei was like, hey, we recommend you should go live in Japan for a little while and train at basically what's the judo college, which is called a Kodokan. So I stayed there, and then when I was out there, I got introduced to MMA. Did a little bit of MMA fighting, but it was like no pay. It just wasn't for me. And so this was
early on,
20 years ago.
I was just getting punched in the face for free?
Yeah. And they didn't even cover medical or anything like that. So just wasn't my cup of tea. I really enjoyed the grappling. And when I came back, then I was introduced to jiu-jitsu. I was dating a girl who was doing it, and she kept trying to convince me to come. And I was like, nah, it's not for me, not for me.
Really? A woman?
Yeah, Japanese woman.
Awesome.
And then I went one day, and it was like a bunch of blue belts and a purple belt. And John Machado made me fight them. I kicked the shit out of all of them, and I was like, I don't need to do this. Because I had a judo background, right? I was like, I'm good, I don't need it. He called me nonstop every day for 2 weeks to come back. And that day I finally came back, I had to fight him, and he kicked the fucking shit out of me. I mean,
John,
respect to you, professor. He kicked the shit out. Once he kicked the shit out of me, I was like, I got to do this because I don't want to be bad at anything. So that was that.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the story about. You hear a lot of jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
Really competent athletes who come in somewhere and then they get kind of
humbled.
Exactly, right? And they're like, I got to do it. Exactly.
Yeah. So it was good because I never thought of myself as a badass, but when I went in. Because I always thought of jiu-jitsu as like Royce Gracie, UFC 1, right? And he just was kind of laying on his back. And as a wrestler, you never lay on your back, right? And even in judo, you don't go to your back because that's when you would get ippon. So it was like this thing in my head. I was like, that's garbage. Right. And then when I went in, like I said, and beat everybody, I was like, again, I don't need it. And then he kicked the crap out of me. And it's the same thing. Like I got into fitness, all these different things, because I was bad at it. And I just wanted to be really, really good at it, you know? I wanted to excel. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, the challenge that prevents there's a feeling of accomplishment, you know, when you overcome that weakness or something and face that.
I still get my ass kicked all the time in jiu-jitsu still, though, as a black belt. You tap every single day you train. And if you're not learning.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the truth about jiu-jitsu. The more you study, the more you know. Like there's no shame in tapping. You're learning when you're tapping.
Yeah, for sure.
Start over. you know.
I think not to get overly like cliche about it, but I think that really makes us as martial artists who we are and as better people. It's like having some humbleness and humility every day in your life really is like, oh, I'm this big in the world. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah, I know. What even what I know basically doesn't amount to shit.
Yeah.
Comparatively to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm fucking awesome. I'm just kidding.
So do you do jujitsu?
No.
See that? Exhibit A.
Your Honor,
I
your
should.
witness.
I have before, but I don't currently. So
Yeah.
it's I'm out of everyone here in this room, including Will behind the camera, I'm the least experienced.
I think everybody should at least try it for 6 months. 6 months is it? Because even
minimum 6
if you
months.
do 6 months, you know more than 98% of people walking around the street.
Yeah.
So you can defend yourself.
Very true.
The 98% of people walking around, and that if you just think of it in that sense,
You know what's sad?
It's
that
worth
that
it.
includes a lot of law enforcement.
And
too,
you know-
unfortunately.
by
Yeah.
far.
What's funny is I think jiu-jitsu is one of the things that you can train and learn without learning titles of moves. Because like my cousins and stuff fight and train, and
sure.
they compete in their upper class belts, and I'll roll with them, and I'll like defend something and not know what I did, but
Yeah.
only know like, oh, his arm's going there, let me put this here.
Sure.
And they'll be like, it's funny, how did you know that? And I'm like, bro, I was just trying to prevent you from choking me out. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those versus like a boxing or striking sport.
Yeah.
Which you really have to know technique or else you're gonna die.
Well, this is totally nerdy, but there's this concept called kinesthetic awareness. So we all have it as humans, and so especially if you've done any sports or anything like that. So it's like it's human nature to not want a hand by your face that's not yours, or your neck, or to have somebody on your back. It's just like we're hardwired in our DNA to not do that. So because you're doing that means that you have this natural ability to know how to defend yourself. I think that's awesome. There's some people just lay down in fear when somebody's attacked. So
Oh no, I'm a little pit bull. Or at least I try to be.
you look like it. You have no neck.
That's too much beer.
Not enough. I wish we had some beers right here. Can we get a beer
Yeah.
sponsor?
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Stella.
Call us.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
PPR.
Our director's shaking his head.
We'll take anything.
Yeah.
No, all local brews. Only local.
We'll take a look at Bruce.
We want to be worldwide.
Yes, international.
Not 10 million
Kieran
followers.
Sapporo. Anybody?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Corona. So do you have
Yeah. Go ahead.
you have a favorite fighter?
Yeah, so I have this like I'm a big old school fan of this fighter.
yes.
His name's Genki Sudo.
Oh, you love the Genki Sudo?
Yeah, and I love him
That's
for
really-
a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
He was a phenomenal grappler, but he put on a show. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's eccentric.
Really eccentric. He's an artist. He's actually a lounge singer now, I believe, in Japan.
He's
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Sudo.
But props to you, Genki. He had the badass tattoo on his back.
He come in with like crazy wigs.
So he
dancing.
fought. This is the most famous fight. Is he fought Butterbean?
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
And he ran across the ring, because in Japan they fight in rings, ran across the ring, bounced off the ropes, and then flying jump kicked Butterbean in the chest. Butterbean
wow.
fell, and then he heel hooked him and beat him.
Oh wow.
And I mean, you don't see that in the UFC ever. Like, and I saw that, and I was like, it's right when I was like debating whether I wanted to get in MMA, and I was like, I could never put on that good of a show.
well, that's like
Yeah, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, he is. I hope you guys can cut clips in, because he is phenomenal. And he was always super nice. He used to train at Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu here in
Really?
LA. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
super humble guy, really talented, and just really put on an amazing show. And you don't see that anymore in the UFC, because the risk versus reward is so much higher. You do a little bit with Conor McGregor, but a lot of the fighters, they have that true. Like they're in it for the business, and I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But back in those days, they were making $2,500 a fight.
Right.
So.
they had a little bit more wrestling flair.
Yeah. So for
because
sure.
of that, they're trying to sell tickets.
For
trying to
sure.
sell a little bit of backyard wrestling flair, where it was like real blood.
Yeah.
So I saw him fight once in Pride, I believe, in Japan. And what I found so interesting besides him is, in the United States, when we watch sports, people scream and yell, like literally scream and yell. In Japan, no one talks when they're fighting. There's no cheering.
Yeah, it's
like
Dead.
golf?
Dead. The only thing they do is, how sometimes people throw punches and they go, tss. People will mimic that. They'll do that in the crowd. That's all you hear. It's the weirdest.
Is there an
thing.
announcer?
There is, but I'm saying during the fight, it's dead silent except for all you hear is the corners.
There's nobody calling the fight.
Japan is culturally weird.
Yeah, but they're mic'd and you know what I mean.
So
So
it's
it's
like a
pretty
TV?
quiet.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So it's pretty interesting. It was one of those things where I was like, whoa, what's going on?
Like when you're on a subway in Japan, no one fucking talks. Like, it's
No, but that's
dead
another
silent.
thing.
Yeah,
That's a sub. There's people paid in Japan to push people
stuff
into this
people in,
stuff. Yeah,
I've
stuff.
seen those videos. That's crazy.
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
But Genki Sudo, I love it.
Yeah,
You heard it. You
he's
heard it.
badass.
We go
Props to
old
you,
school,
bro.
Baby. We
Yeah,
go old school,
yeah.
baby.
I was actually thinking about that today because I was like, I wonder if they're gonna ask me, and I'm a big fan of him.
Do you have a favorite fight?
Favorite fight ever?
Yeah.
When Kevin Randleman spiked Fedor in his head,
Oh, when he dumped him on his head. Yeah.
and then Fedor came back and beat him.
Fedor,
So
thank you, baby. This
yeah,
is the Fedor shirt, homie.
yeah, that's what reminded me. I think that's one of those where you can see that somebody he stayed so calm when he got spiked on his head, and then stood back up and just ate him for fucking lunch. Yeah.
Didn't Kevin Randleman just die a little while ago?
He did.
That's so sad.
He had a rough patch. Remember he had staph and they cut half of
Yeah.
his pec off. Oh man.
God, I know, poor guy.
Yeah, I forget what he died of. Maybe heart or something. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a walkout song?
Yeah.
Or if not, what would it be?
Back in Black, AC/DC.
There you go.
Classic, baby. Absolutely.
Just that opening, dun yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's a good one.
yeah,
That is a good
We
one.
haven't had that one yet, surprisingly.
I dig that.
We're old school. We're going old school.
Yeah,
again.
I'm old as fuck, 40 as fuck.
Well, the 40 is the new 20. Is that what they say? I
Doesn't
guess.
fucking feel like
That's
it.
It definitely doesn't feel like it. That just means we need to
50
drink
with
more.
money is the new 30.
I had never passed math when I was a kid.
We don't need to. We have iPhones now.
Yeah. Computer, Siri, do it for me.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm Chinese and I've had math skills. beat
You're
me.
Chinese?
Absolutely.
What?
I know not people.
Whoa.
People don't guess that at first.
Bro,
God.
Like a lot of things.
I thought you were Puerto Rican.
Puerto
What the
Rican.
fuck?
Fiji Islands.
yeah, I was gonna.
You're
go,
Asian?
I was
God.
gonna go like Bombay or Sri Lanka or
Yeah,
something.
absolutely,
And I just,
absolutely. Jerusalem.
yeah. Maybe
All right.
Mongolia.
Yeah.
Anything else? Lay it on me.
Let's take it to the next segment and let's get into these clips. We're gonna make fun of some videos.
Can't wait.
Some new videos. Gracie,
Alright.
would you please do your thing?